We have a lot of reversals today from the last couple of negative days. In fact, pretty much all asset classes are up after pretty much all asset classes have been down. And Tesla, in fact, is clawing back a big chunk of the last couple of days' losses. Lots of good news for Tesla, just like there has been the rest of the week. But maybe this is just bargain hunting after going down for no good reason. NVIDIA is down a bit this morning, but far less than it was in the after hours last night. But shockingly, NVIDIA, after hitting some good numbers and giving some good guidance, is actually down where everybody else is up. Sound familiar? We have a lot to cover today, so hang in there. Here we go. Let's start with MarketWatch saying this morning that Tesla Inc.'s sprawling energy ecosystem is giving William Blair analyst Jed Dorsheimer shades of Apple Inc. He initiated coverage of Tesla shares Thursday with an outperform rating, cheering the company's Apple-esque ecosystem anyway, for the future of energy. That consists of the auto business and longer term opportunities like AI, robotaxi, and robotics, he wrote. Dorsheimer looked at Tesla's potential in an almost academic light, writing that the chief executive Elon Musk's ability to inspire, there you go, could improve the societal value of energy, which he sees as a foundation for economic activity. Oh, he's speaking my language. If we look out at the horizon, fleets of robotaxis have the potential to improve utilization of vehicles, and humanoid robots allow for reallocation of energy away from mental tasks. Tesla is a technology powerhouse, drawing parallels to Apple in his mind when it comes to their respective focuses on ecosystems. Well, he says, while Tesla is best known for its electric vehicle business, he joined the chorus of analysts who think that the company's energy business deserves more attention on Wall Street. That business, consisting of products like Megapack and Powerwall, is the most underappreciated component of the Tesla story. The three key drivers for energy storage are grid stabilization, data center build-out, and renewables integration. Further, he says investors can focus more on Tesla's energy business in light of tempered EV expectations in the near term. He concludes, the Tesla energy business will be expanding at a compound annual rate of 50%, probably more than that, enough to increase its portion of the business mix substantially. Energy could make up 25% of revenue by 2028. Maybe before that, but other things will, he doesn't say all this, I'm saying it, it's really going to be about robotaxi and Optimus, but he doesn't get back to that. Anyway, he says could be 25% of revenue in that group of things, I agree, or more, relative to 6%, according to his math. Well, excellent analysis coming out of the gate. Might be part of the reason it's up this morning, but I think most of it is just a reaction to being down the last couple of days. Anyway, Reuters this morning say this is a really great article for Tesla. The lawyers who sued successfully to avoid Tesla CEO's Elon Musk's $56 billion pay package are seeking a record $6 billion in fees. And the judge will decide the amount. She got some unsolicited guidance this month from the state's top court. Do not give windfalls. Chancellor Kathleen McCormick of Delaware's Court of Chancery is weighing two decisions. One is, of course, whether or not to even agree to the pay package again after throwing it out, and the other is how much to pay the lawyers. McCormick got a reminder on August 14th from her bosses on the state's high court in affirming a $267 million fee, one of the largest ever in a shareholder litigation. The justice cautioned that at some point these types of paydays can turn into a windfall. Legal experts said the justices likely had the Musk case in mind. They're making it clear to McCormick and anyone else that certainly an extremely high fee, an eye-popping fee, a wow fee is appropriate, but there's a line where it's simply past what is necessary to incentivize high-risk cases. This is according to Ann Lipton, a professor at Tulane. The cases over Musk compensation began, we know all that. In January, McCormick sided with Tornett, of course, and they said, the lawyers had asked for a conservative fee of 11% of the stock that Musk would have gotten, which would have been worth about $6 billion in today's situation. the Delaware judges took a look at time and effort of the lawyers as a way to spot a potential windfall. That their fee in the case that Tornett is asking for $280,000 an hour. The highest paid attorneys on the case normally bill $11.50 an hour, while on the low end, some contract attorneys and paralegals only charge $250. So anyway, they went on to say they thought $5,000 an hour would be high. Yeah, that would be high. So that could suggest that Tesla might be on the hook for $100 million, just 10% of the requested cash fee that Tornetta was willing to take of $1 billion. They were saying, oh, if you just pay us in cash, we'll take $1 billion. Anyway, if you asked if Elon Musk was overpaid, Reed said, referring to McCormick's question at the start of her January ruling, we want to ask if the plaintiff's lawyers are being overpaid. Then we have a CNN hit piece out this morning on the Cybertruck. The title is, Can Anyone Explain the Cybertruck to Me? You can go look it up if you want. I'm not going to give it any more information than just to say it's a hit piece. Anyone with a brain who reads it can see that it's a cobbled together set of negative articles or opinions that anyone can find on the internet, and spends zero time on the thousands of hours of glowing reports from experts. Thus, other than giving you a headline, and the company, it's just a headline. I don't know why CNN ran it. I don't know why anybody would run such a piece of garbage. It was really poorly written and stupid. Anyway, but it's just a hit piece, truly. All right, this is Randy Kirk, by the way, if you haven't figured that out yet. And the thing I would like you to do, can we say it all together now? We hit the like button, and then we hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that, and it's shocking that you haven't. And then you also want to hit that other thing where you get notified, because Cern Basher will be coming with outstanding charts and graphs and stuff this morning. And then Bradford Ferguson will join us for the good news portion. Okay, now listen, going down into the description below and deciding to join Patreon for $3 a month or $5 a month, or even as high as 10, or join the guys who are now, there's 2 of you out there doing that $50 a month. I thank you so much. There could be more. All right. Now, while I am not initiating coverage of NVIDIA, you might have thought that. I'm yes, initiating coverage. I thought it only appropriate to follow up on the analysis over the last couple of days. And that is that 𝐒𝐚𝐲 says the NVIDIA dip, buyers couldn't even wait until the market opened. During pre-market trade alone, NVIDIA already up about 6% from the low of the last 24 hours. Since its post-market low yesterday, the stock has added back $160 billion of market cap. Meanwhile, nearly all large banks raised their price targets on the stock today. Bullish sentiment is an understatement. In the week, it's okay. So then we go on to this. We have the weekly advanced number on job figure. Yeah, easy for me to say. In the week ended August 24, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 231,000, a decrease of 2,000, and that compared to last week. And last week's was raised up 1,000. So we continue to have this. The number of initial jobless is like the same week after week. Is in such a tight range. The 4-week moving average was 231,500. That's a decrease of 4,750. Hardly worth talking about. The advanced number for seasonally adjusted insured employment during the week was 1.868 million, an increase of 13,000 from the previous week's revised levels. So you've basically got no change. The market seems to like that this morning. There was lots of additional news, as you probably know. We've got, okay, let's go ahead. Lots of additional news. The real gross domestic product, GDP, increased at an annual rate of 3%. That is an upward revision from the first analysis. and from 2.8 to 3.0. I think we need to take into consideration that this is looking backward, looking at the second quarter. We are now well into, almost done with only 1 month to go for the third quarter. So we're looking at the second quarter, which I think everybody acknowledged, at least for April and May, was good, though June seemed to tail off. Then we go on to advanced international trade in goods. The international trade deficit was 102.7 billion in July, up 6.1 billion from the 96 billion in June. Exports were unchanged, but imports increased. So having an increased trade deficit is never a great thing. Then we go on to advanced wholesale inventories. Wholesale inventories for July adjusted for seasonal variations and trading day differences, but not for price changes. Wow. We're estimated at the end of the month level 904 billion, up 0.3%. So this is always one of those ones where is it good news or bad news when wholesale inventories are up? But I'm saying that right now, wholesale inventories being up is not probably good. Retail inventories for July, adjusted for seasonal, up 0.8%. So we've got inventories increasing. Now that can just be, as a retailer, wholesaler, manufacturer my whole life, I can tell you that sometimes you want to increase your inventories into certain seasons, or you want to increase your inventories because you see that the sales look like they're going to be picking up. You've got new orders coming in, but in general, I would say you don't want your inventories increasing. It could be evidence of a slowdown and you've got just way too much inventory on hand. But this is the hardest one to really make a decision to be able to judge what's happening in the economy based on these inventories being up or down. It could mean a lot of things. This one is a little easier to have a comment on. Pending home sales just coming out right now. It just broke. Pending home sales in July fell 5.5%. This is what I'm talking about, with all 4 regions of the U.S. posting monthly losses in transactions. Year over year, the Northeast rose while the Midwest, South, and West all the other regions were in decline. According to NAR, National Association of Retailer Chief Economist Lawrence Yun, a sales recovery did not occur in midsummer. Now, normally, the summer is when the housing sales are the highest. The positive impact of job growth and higher inventory could not overcome affordability challenges and some degree of wait and see relating to the U.S. presidential elections. So I think it has to do with the high interest rates, which the interest rates had gone back up again. They've dropped again since then. I think overall we're seeing price stability for the last couple of months, continuing to be high. I mean, when I say price stability, continuing 6 to 8% year over year growth in prices. It's really hard to judge how this housing market right now is going to overall impact. It's a negative impact, that's for sure, on GDP, a negative impact on the economy, not to be having the houses turn over and to see this loss, but it may be transitional. And it may still be reflecting a little bit what happened over the last winter when so many homes were sold. If we see this continuation into August and September, then we got some real problems, in my opinion. Okay, so the market seemed pretty happy with all those reports last time I checked. Let's see if they're continuing to show exuberance, and they are. The Dow Jones up 290, the NASDAQ up 135, S&P up 30, Tesla up 555. It was up even more. In fact, the NASDAQ is coming off highs. S&P a little bit coming off highs. Dow Jones continuing up. And pretty much the Magnificent Seven doing very, very well this morning, except also all coming off highs. So all went up and then now kind of tipping over. NVIDIA now actually also, which was down from the start, is now down 535. That's still not as bad as the 10 that it was down last night. But interesting action on NVIDIA. Not exactly sure why people, unless they just think it was over hyped and it was time to take a little profit. I don't know. it's one of those kind of situations where you ask the question about Tesla. Why is it down? So, but anyway, that's what we're tending to see this morning. Up in the Magnificent Seven and then down after having hit some good numbers. We've got the Cathie Woods all up and actually strongly, very strongly up this morning. In fact, the Magnificent Seven are also, you got Apple at 442. You got Google. Let's look at the percentages, maybe more interesting. We've got the Dow Jones up 0.7. You've got NASDAQ, similar, 0.75. S&P up 0.54. Then you look at Tesla up 2.84. Apple up 2. Google up 1.33. Amazon up 1. Meta up 1. So we're not looking at Microsoft up 2.26. We're looking at strong upward action on a percentage basis. But NVIDIA, as mentioned, down 4.28% after beating top, bottom, but not beating maybe by as much as people expected. And maybe the guidance was not quite as strong as people were expecting, although it was so really good guidance. All right, let's go ahead and look at those bonds. All right, what do we got here? We've got the bond market saying, hey, the economy's too hot. So we're going to increase the yields back up to 3.867. That's up 2.6 basis points. 2-year up exactly the same amount. So we continue to have that 3 basis point difference, actually 2.6 basis point difference between the 10-year and the 2-year, getting very, very close to parity. The 2-month this morning is actually down, so beginning to shrink that. That needs a long, long way to get anywhere close. It's still over, right around 135 basis points higher than the 10-year, which is, of course, crazy. We know that. Okay, let's go to look at oil, which was banging upward this morning, but not as much as it was. It was up over 2. It is now up both around $1.68, $1.70 for Texas Intermediate, $1.52 for Brent. $4 difference, suggesting Middle East action. But in this case, we have Libya's cutback and we have China strong demand. So the combination is the prices are going up this morning. I don't know if this will hold. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, these are not, these are low prices. And so maybe there is room for these to move back up again. But we're going out of the summer season. I don't know. Interesting. But we're at solid, good low pricing in terms of the economy. That's good to have low prices on oil. Natural gas also down, but back over $2 a share, but down from yesterday's close, down $1.72. I'm sorry, 1.72% at $2.06. All right, we've got gold back up again this morning. I don't think it's reached all-time highs again yet, but close at 12, up 13 at 2,550. Silver up 0.7%, back under $30 at 29.4. Copper down 0.33 this morning, but still over 4 at 4,136. The dollar up against the yen, 0.5, down against the euro, 0.5. There you go. So, and oh man, I just lost everything here. We got to come back to the, I'm so sorry. We've got the Bitcoin recovering, up 1367, 60,611, still way down towards the bottom of its range. Okay, going back and reviewing just one last time on Tesla. Now ticking up. In fact, the Magnificent Seven, it looks like this. Okay, starting good, up higher, down, and then now starting back up again. Sorry, I had to do that. That's what's happening this morning. Tesla now up 2.71% or $5.57 at 211.32. All right, so what do we want to talk about? We want you to like, subscribe, and hit notify. You also and then because we've got really good stuff coming up later today, Cern, and then Bradford. But yesterday, great session with Scott Walter. We talked about space. We talked about robots. We talked about all kinds of cool technology and science stuff. And if you like that kind of stuff and you missed it, there is the card. And that's about all I can think of for right now, except maybe joining Patreon. It's been great. Been amazing, absolutely incredible talking to you this morning.